Hi Bola, just thought I'd give you a little bit of a screen recording for your panel, so just to help things along really with this. Let me just adjust this so I've got 5 in a row there for you. I'm not going to edit this video either, so it will just be as is, so it shouldn't be too long. So I think you've got a potential of nine images for your panel. I've just done some sort of like rough layout just to get you going really. So we've got your top line there of 5. Got one missing here, so I generally put a blank in using bridge. So we've got these along here. At the moment it looks like these two are probably center images. Okay, so quick run through for you, and then I'll talk about your spares, which I think you need 5 new spares, but you'll understand why. Okay, yeah, this one I think is fine. They like pairs, but we're not looking for like exact pairs. We're looking for like a similar sort of feel each side. It is quite nice sometimes if you can get kind of like a landscape and a landscape here. So have a little think about that, but it doesn't always have to be 100% that way, because trying to get a mix going on with this is very, very difficult to do anyway. And not everyone puts them in exactly symmetrical. If you look at some old LRPS online panels, you'll see they're not always that symmetrical. So it's about content and being good content and variety. So a couple of people ones here. This one a night shot, so different from a studio shot. So we've got 2 different options here for technique. Okay, and what I'd say, if you're doing prints, these have got to be absolutely sharp and good quality, so bear that in mind. Make sure you're happy with the colour on this. I mean, it is a night shot, so you can take it where you want, particularly with all these neons. Okay, but I think that's the better one of the two of these two, having a little smile here, this guy looking off to the side there. This one I've just kind of like tried to try and get these two, if you do use these two, the same. This can be a panoramic, just so it works well with this one, but obviously different technique here to a different technique here. Might be you make this one a bit wider top to bottom. With this one in particular, see if you've got a sharper one. Okay, there is a little bit of softness. If you look down in this left corner, you can see where there's, I think it's probably just the movement and against the shutter speed. So even up here you can see there's just a little bit of movement coming into play. These look outstanding when they're really, really sharp. So I think you could put any one of these in, and I'm sure you've got a sharp one, and just try and see what you can do with that one. It is about getting these really, really sharp. So this is a center one. It's kind of like, the reason it's a center like this one, it's a bit of an oddity against all the rest. Hard to get that to match up. Have you got one with this young lady walking rather than just standing there, or someone else walking? I think that would be a bit better. Also, you have treated some of your pictures a little bit harsh, so there's a lot of like grain coming through, and I think it's, I mean, we know it's sunny, so I think it's I would just take your post-production back a little bit, so it's not quite so harsh. I know you like the harshness of it. It has a feel of like Silver Effects Pro to me, whereas if you're going to take this to high contrast, use Lightroom or Adobe Camera, or use a contrast slider. And if you want to get some areas darker, just burn it in rather than kind of crushing up with sliders. Okay. But I think if you haven't got one walking, I think that could probably still go through. That should be okay. So yeah, nothing wrong with this one. Again, just make sure it is lovely and sharp in print. It does look okay. And by the way, these must not be over A4 size. And in fact, what you want is, if it's print, go A4 with a centimetre piece of white around the image. Okay, so that sits within the mount with a centimetre, and that actually makes it a little bit less than A4, and they love that. So don't think big is better. I think this is the best of the Amy ones, and it's a studio one. Just watch the brightness here and do a little bit of work on her skin, and just burn her down a little bit. Maybe open up a few little shadows, but don't overdo it. Looks like you've burnt in here, which is what you'd need to do, so well done on that. But just tone that down, as that's a little bit on the bright side. Also, maybe if you can, just take that black by cloning that black lipstick into the red of the lips, so that the red of the lips disappears on that. They probably won't pick up on that, but it's worth just in case. Yeah, See this loads of times, but it's all, you've done it well. Nothing wrong with that at all. Might be a little bit of kind of like a distortion there on here, but again, they probably won't pick up on it. Might just need kind of like squeezing in a little bit. See what you think. I mean, technique-wise, it's fabulous, and that's what they're looking for, and it's a good shot. It's a bit of an issue that we do want some symmetry with this and this one over here. And I think this has got to be colour, so see if you can take that one as a colour shot. So go back to your original and choose that as a colour, because that will work well on this one. Maybe even flip it, okay, so that it looks like it's going, we're reading left to right. This reads right to left, and that one at the moment is reading right to left, so flip that one, okay. Yeah, lovely macro shot. Again, just in print, make sure it's sharp. It does look sharp, and that's no problem at all. Out of all your musical ones, I think this is the best one. You've got 3 people there looking pretty good. He's probably the weakest, but you're not going to get all 3 of them a lot of the time, are you? So I think that's the best of those, and you've got them looking, these 2 looking good. It's 3 people, and that works really, really well. Again, if this is going to be black and white, then you might want black and white here. And if kind of like that's colour, then we've got a nice triangle with 2 black and white and a black and white at the top there, so that could work really, really well. So you need something in here, maybe something that's of just a different type of technique would be useful, but it's pretty strong anyway when it comes to like techniques. There really is some good variety there. And you've got to remember that maybe this one's got to somehow work with this, and you say, well, you know, that's going to bring in people. But what you can't do, if you bring this guy in, then it's more or less the same sort of technique. So it may well be that, you know, when we look at some more spares, that this may get moved around or even dropped, but you don't know till we see what we've got to play with. So I think that's a really good start for a panel. It's getting this one, okay, working. And just with the others, really looking at these, shame he's kind of like got his eyes shut, but I think your other one is a better shot of the images, and he is just a little bit soft. This one, you've really overdone this, like loads of sharpening by the looks of it. It looks too scrunchy and things are looking a little bit odd on this, and you've kind of overdone her eyes as well. Again, it just looks like these eyes have been over processed a little bit, and the light in the pupils is starting to look a little bit supernatural, if you like. So I mean, that's a shot that could be used. Tone it down, just work on the skin a bit, but we've already got one of Amy here, so I mean, it could be that, you know, you just go with that one if you're happy to go with that one. But if you do rework this one and it goes up there, then you've got to think about a black and white over here, okay? But it could be that you take, to get something to match with this, you could put a studio shot in here of Amy and flip it so that that works, okay? And that would be black and white, and that sorts that problem out and gives you something else to play with up here. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I think your other shot with the Millennium Bridge is the one to go with, which is that one over there. Yeah, that's a good shot. Take out these white lines if you were to use that, but again, I think your other one is a better shot, but not much in it. So, but I think this is definitely the sharper of the images, okay, especially with this guy here. Yeah, fine, no problems with that, but I just think, you know, having a studio shot is a better option because you haven't got anything studio in there, okay. Again, I think your 2 people on the phone is the better night shot than this lady, okay, so go with that one up the top there. This one here, it's okay, it's just a scene to me, Bola, as much as it's got some wonderful architecture, and I kind of like the variety of textures and all that side of things. It doesn't really stand out and say a lot more than that, and I just think you start to get a little bit lost in it, and I don't mind getting lost because I like all of the architecture and the shapes and that sort of thing, but that's not for everyone. And I just think, you know, maybe these kind of insignificant people, kind of like the backs of them, is this guy's taking a picture or something. I just think this kind of like pulls you away from what this scene is about, which is all of the architecture. Imagine this is kind of like a very thin panoramic with no sky, and like all the different levels of architecture. That could work really well. It does look a little bit grainy, I don't know why, but I'm saying that this is at full screen at the moment, so I don't know if we've got any information coming up on here. No, there isn't. So I don't know why that is. But at the end of the day, you've got certainly this one and this one. What you haven't got is a traditional landscape. And maybe, you know, take a look at a couple of traditional landscapes to go in here. That's a seascape. So maybe something like that could work quite well as more of a traditional landscape. Even, I mean, you've got to be careful, but maybe even a sunrise or a sunset that's quite interesting. But it's obviously going to have to work maybe opposite this then because of the colours. But or as a black and white as another option. This one, yeah, I just think the, you know, technique wise pretty good, but when the two of them are here like this, not that one, let's go back up there. There we go. Is a lot better, and that TV screen isn't so dominant either in the background, because when you look at this down here, we've got a guy with a guitar coming straight out of his head there. So there you go. Get one more here. Check those issues, and you need 5 more spares, which I'm sure you can pull through. And if you're not sure, you can always send me kind of like even 20 other images purely for spares and say, Tony, what do you think about any of these for spares? Hope that helps. Give us a bell if you've got any questions, and we'll go from there. Cheers.